Good morning once again. The network here in Lusaka is very pathetic this morning, and I've been trying to go live on the issue of Swaziland for the past 30 minutes. So let's try and see how this works out. If it doesn't, well, I'll try and go live in the evening again. But the issue is that we are looking at the prevailing or upcoming or current events in Swaziland. And I want to say from the outset that we are in solidarity with you. Zambia is in solidarity with your struggles in Swaziland. The entire Africa, South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, Congo, Uganda, name all these countries. We are in solidarity with you in Swaziland because your struggle is our struggle. Now, I know and I'm reliably informed that this morning, the leader of PUDEMO and the allied organizations such as the SUDF are marching on Mbabane. And they are marching to Mbabane, the capital of Swaziland, because they want to issue a strong statement and stance on the arrest of two MPs who have stood shoulder to shoulder with the people of Swaziland to speak for the people of Swaziland and to denounce the dictatorship of King Mswati. That's what is happening today, and we are in solidarity with you. We are watching and we are monitoring the situation closely. I also want to say from the outset that these two MPs have been charged with terrorism, and I want to make it clear, and you the people of Swaziland must understand this. To a regime, to a dictatorship such as Mswati, and to any dictatorship for that matter in the world, any freedom fighter will always be labeled a terrorist. It happened to Mandela. The apartheid regime of South Africa labeled Mandela a terrorist and the ANC a terrorist organization for over 30 years. So it's nothing new that Mswati should arrest your MPs, Mabuza and what's his name? Mthendani. Is it Mthendani? Yeah, Mthandeni. Mabuza and Mthendani. It should not be news to you that they are being arrested and charged with terrorism. Their arrest is also the arrest of your struggle. That's why I'm saying that this is not time for you, the people of Swaziland, to sit back in your homes and watch comrades like Mlungisi, PUDEMO president, Mlungisi. I can't forget his name because Mlungisi in my language, Lozi, means a mechanic or one who fixes. So don't leave it up to PUDEMO or SUDF or Mlungisi or whoever. Don't leave this struggle to Mthendani and Mabuza. Don't leave it to them. Because the moment that you leave it to a few people, the moment that you leave the struggle to a few people to fight on your behalf, you are nailing those people on the cross because they become the only target. And that is what Mswati has observed. That there are only a few people he has to silence before he kills the struggle. So to offset that possibility from happening where a few people are arrested and the whole struggle freezes over, you, the people of Swaziland, must go out on the street and march to Mbabane. Accompany Comrade Mlungisi and his comrades, the SUDF, the PUDEMO, the Communist Party of Swaziland, all these organizations and coalitions that are marching to Mbabane. Accompany them, march with them, go with them, and if they go down with them. Freedom is not free. You always have to remember that. Freedom is not free. The price for freedom is not paid in dollars. It's paid in blood. And that blood has already been shed by the butcher Mswati, the butcher of Mbabane. It has been paid in blood by over 100 of your comrades who've fallen to the guns of Mswati's goons. So this is not the time to sit back and retreat. This is the time to march forward. Mthendani and Mabuza, these MPs are not terrorists. The real terrorists in Swaziland, is King Mswati himself. In fact, he shouldn't be called a king because he's a coward. Mswati is a coward. The terrorist is Mswati. Because who is a terrorist? A terrorist is one who inspires fear in the hearts of his people. One who causes people to fear for their lives. Has MP Mthenda and Mabuza ever inspired fear in the lives of the Mswati? No. Has PUDEMO and SUDF and other coalition parties, Comrade Mlungisi, have they ever inspired fear in the people of Swaziland? No. The only ones who have inspired fear and terror in the people of Swaziland is King Mswati himself, because he is the killer. King Mswati is a killer. And the whole issue of Comrade Mthenda, MP Mthenda and Mabuza being arrested came about because they were stopped from going to mourn 2 young men who were shot in cold blood by the Swazi forces, by the Swazi police. Shot in cold blood. And for what? Because they denounced Mswati. And they did well. They denounced Mswati. They said Mswati is not our king. We do not recognize the leadership and the government of King Mswati. He is not our king. They denounced him openly, and for that they were shot dead. And when MP Mabuza and Mthenda stand up and say, let us go and mourn and bury our comrades, the same forces that shot those 2 young men arrest them and charge them for terrorism. How upset. How upset. But that is part of the struggle. Being arrested, being intimidated, being threatened, being tear gassed, being shot or shot dead is part of the struggle. If you are not willing to go to prison, if you are not willing to die, if you are not willing to be tear gassed, if you are not willing to be intimidated, thrown left, right, and center at the hands of a dictatorial regime, then you are not decided for freedom. But I know, and Africa knows, that the Swati, the Mswati, you are prepared for freedom and you are prepared to march forward no matter what the cost is. Because your comrades who have died, who have been maimed, have paid the ultimate price. And it would be a disservice and a loss if those lives were lost in vain. That's why I want to encourage you this morning. I want to encourage PUDEMO. I want to encourage the SUDF. I want to encourage Comrade Mlungisi. I want to encourage the 2 MPs that have been incarcerated, Mthenda and Mabuza. Hold firm, hold strong, hold on, and carry forward, march forward, because freedom for Swaziland is on the horizon. Don't lose sight of what you are fighting for. Don't you lose sight of what you are fighting for. What you are fighting for as the people of Swaziland, Mswati, is justified and it is your birthright. You are fighting for the end of royal supremacy in Swaziland, where one royal family that has led Swaziland for centuries still does not want to move with the times. Times have changed. Kings no longer rule supreme. The people are the ones who rule supreme. You are fighting for an end of royal supremacy. You are fighting for an end to royal dictatorship. Leadership by the king, for the king's family, and by the king's family and his clan. That has no place in the modern society. You are fighting for an end to the looting of the wealth of Swaziland. This beautiful country with all kinds of resources, with diamonds and gold, and potential land for agriculture, that's been sold to the Chinese and has become a small vassal state or province of China. You are fighting for the liberation of your country, of your land, of your soil, from foreign control. That is a justified struggle. You are fighting for the end of patriarchy and patronage. Patronage, where Mswati treats the Mswati people as his children. He regards himself as this all-loving father or all-caring father that decides for you what you do, how you think, and decides what your life is going to be. End patriarchy, end patronage. You are not patrons of Mswati. You are fighting for an end to poverty and unemployment. Don't you lose sight of that. You are fighting ultimately to an end. You're not fighting for democracy in itself. Look at us in Zambia. We have so-called democracy. Are we any better in terms of jobs? No. Are we any better in terms of a good life in terms of education and quality healthcare? No. Are we any better in terms of participating in the economy? Having businesses that are viable and that produce the things that we require? No. We are also depending on China. China runs Zambia. China owns state media. China owns all the construction companies. We are slaves of China as well, but we have democracy. So ultimately, you're not fighting for democracy in itself, but you are fighting for what democracy can deliver. To give you a platform where you, the people, have a voice in terms of where your country is going politically and economically. So that ultimately, the people of Swaziland can have an economy that delivers quality education, healthcare, job opportunities, and business opportunities. That is what you are fighting for. You're fighting for your place as a Mswati to determine your own destiny. Don't lose sight of that. And remember, I'll say this again. The ultimate price for freedom is not paid in dollars, in kwacha, in rand, in shillings. No. The ultimate price for freedom is paid in blood. The tree of liberty must be watered by the blood of patriots. And already your patriots, your comrades have shed blood. Let that tree of liberty in Swaziland rise and grow. But you have to put in your best. Don't wait for South Africans to come and rescue you. Don't wait for the EFF in South Africa and Malema to march across the border and rescue you. Don't wait for Zambians, for Zimbabweans and Malawans and Congolese and Ugandans to cross their borders and come to fight for you. We have our own struggles. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, we are 2 weeks away from our elections. Not even 2 weeks, about 13 days away from our elections, which are crucial, which are a matter of life and death. So we have our own problems as well. But even in our own problems, we still spare time to look at our neighbors, to find out how are you doing? What are the struggles? How are you moving? Because we care for you. Your struggle is our struggle. The things that you want are the things that we want. We are all Africans who are oppressed by these so-called presidents, kings, and prime ministers who are nothing but stooges of foreign countries that still have a vested interest in our countries here in Africa to control us, to determine our destiny, and keep us as slaves, as sources of cheap labor, cheap mineral resources, and places where they can offload their excess dollars to give us loans that will never repay. That is the struggle that you must fight for. So I commend you, Mswati, for your resilience. I commend you for your determination. I commend you for your sacrifice. I commend you for your steadfastness. I commend you for the strength and of character that you continue to exhibit in that struggle. We are watching. Africa is watching. And we are going to give you all the solidarity and support that we can. Because Western media and even your local media will never report your struggle favorably. They'll just brand you as terrorists. Just like they branded Mandela, Kenneth Kaunda, Samora Machel, Sarese Khama. You can even talk about Patrice Lumumba. You can talk about Julius Nyerere. Every freedom fighter in Africa will always be branded a terrorist by a regime. Whether that is a black regime, a Boer regime, or a white regime. So, I commend you as terrorists. If you are going to be called terrorists, you are my favorite terrorists. Continue to terrorize Mswati until he leaves that throne. Until that spoiled brat daughter of his, Skanyiso Dlamini, goes to a place where she can mop floors and understand what it is to be a citizen of Swaziland. A Mswati, who have all the resources, but you don't have the life that you deserve. Forward in the struggle, and please, give the support to these comrades, Mlungisi, who are leading the struggle, the MPs Mabuza and Mthenda, and everyone. And thank you very much in particular to my comrades, Abigail Jele and Gift Maseko, who continue to inform me and update me on situations that are prevailing on the grounds. Thank you very much, comrades. I really appreciate. For the rest of you who are on my Facebook page, my Facebook friends and family, I appreciate your presence. Please continue to spread the word. Continue to share this. As usual, I'll always continue to update you here on Facebook and as well as on YouTube. Like my YouTube platform. If you go to YouTube, just Mainda Simataa, type Mainda Simataa, subscribe and ring the bell so that you can stay updated. Forward in the struggle, abash Mswati and free comrade MP Bachede, Mthenda, and Mabuza. The struggle continues. Thank you very much and good day.